that. Let's say that we're starting the year off strong. We're starting the year off strong. Man, we have a guest that I'm excited to have on today, and that's Iceyyy. What's going on, my man? How are you feeling today?
I'm doing great, TSG. I'm excited for this, man. We've had this on the books for a little while. Yeah, let's start the new year off right. Scoriox, it's great to meet you finally.
Great to meet you too, man. Yeah, it's awesome. For those of you that are watching and don't really know, usually me and TSG kind of take turns finding people to have on the show when we have guests and things. So sometimes we haven't met the other person, which is really funny. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's quite cool actually. I like the fact that we do just get to meet different people from like different kind of areas of Web3. And for those of you guys that don't know, I had a podcast with Iceyyy last month, right?
Yeah.
Yo, by far my most like favorite podcast that I've done, like in regards to being a guest on. Iceyyy absolutely killed it. So I don't have the link down below, but just go check out his website. His website, sorry. Go check out his YouTube. I've got his
Nah,
Twitter on
you
there.
you
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 guys will
made the
find it. Follow
episode
the links.
amazing.
Follow the
TSG was
links.
dropping fire, dropping heat, dropping gems. It was a great episode.
No,
Wow, that's unusual.
thank
Why
you,
doesn't he bring that to Augment?
man. Yeah, because I barely wake up on time. But no, thank you, thank you. But yo, Iceyyy, let's get into it, man. Obviously, you're the guest today, and I want to focus on you. Uh, tell us about yourself. How did you get into crypto? What do you do in crypto? Like the general kind of get to know you questions.
Yeah, sure. So I've been in crypto for 6 years now. Definitely like drank the Kool-Aid back in the 2017 whole bull run, round tripped that whole roller coaster.
Hmm.
But really like went deep and fell in love with a lot of the values, a lot of the ideals. It just really resonated with me, learning about blockchain, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and everything. So, I mean, I could
Yep.
go down that whole rabbit hole for sure, but like
Yeah.
really became a believer, and started paying attention to the space. Obviously, kind of, it was a little quiet through the bear market, but came back in like 2020 with like the whole DeFi summer. And I've been like full time, like, since then. So yeah, I forget where I was
Can
going to
you
go
tell
with
us?
that.
No, it's fine. But can you tell us, like 2017? So you were one of the ones that got in early. How did you find out
Yeah.
about it? Was it one of your friends? Was it like it
Yeah.
wasn't on mainstream media like that back then, was it?
A little bit, a little bit. That's a great question. I had a lot of like entrepreneur friends, like online
Right.
marketing friends that were, always in the fringes, right? And like paying attention to
Mhm.
like the new up and coming stuff. So I had a lot of friends who were just talking about it on social media and whatnot. And I think I remember watching Bitcoin go from like, 1K to 2K. It's like, oh man, I could have doubled my money, and then it went to 4K, and it's like, oh my god, I could have doubled my money again.
Yeah.
And so it was just like it was like that August or September of like 2017 where it really started to heat up, and then November, December, you hit 20K, like just about 20K
Mm.
Bitcoin. And it's like the whole euphoria and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got hooked back then, man.
Yeah. And
Can
what
you?
like we? Oh, sorry. Go for it.
I just really wanted to talk on this because me and TSG have
Yeah.
never experienced it, and actually most
Mm.
people in the Illuvium community haven't. Kind of, what was the bear market like? Like, does it feel similar to what it feels like now,
Mm.
or does it feel different, or just any advice for people for getting through it? Obviously, we see a lot of comments every day about people that
Yeah.
are having trouble getting through it.
That's a good
That's
question.
such a good question, Scoriox. Yeah, it feels very similar in the
Mhm.
sense of like, man, like we really hit all-time highs and then crashed again.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different in the sense that like so much has been built this time. There's such a
Mm,
stronger foundation, and I feel like there's been a little bit more product market fit with DeFi, and then like a lot of the games that are coming out and NFTs, right? So there's like a little bit more substance. Back in like, 2017 and 2018, and like really the dark times of 2019, like you didn't have that product market fit. Like, okay, cool. Bitcoin is digital gold, but like Ethereum back then was just like, it was the ICO craze, and it would get,
Mhm.
shit on for being like, a unregulated, fundraising platform basically. So there was like a lot of vaporware with like the whole ICO craze, right? Like you think people are calling crypto a scam right now? Like ICOs were a little wild, but like it's going to be the same thing where like a lot of the ICOs, went to zero and never came back. But then you had like, TSG, you had synthetics come out of that. You had Balancer and Compound, and you had like you had Aave, right? So you had a lot of these like incredible products that survived the bear and then went on to find somewhat of product market fit and a lot of success in the whole 2020 DeFi run. So like I almost think that like the NFTs and crypto gaming is one cycle behind that. Like NFTs and crypto gaming had our 2017 ICO craze, where it was like, the click Ponzi's and like the play to earn Ponzi's, where it's just the white papers and there wasn't a lot of substance. And now like the air has been deflated out of that bubble, and only the real TSG, and I talked about this last time, only the real shit is going to last. So like, the games that build through the bear and are really here for the right reasons are going to find like huge success in the next bull run, but I don't know when that'll be.
It's interesting that you say that about like only the real like things or projects will survive. I think that comes to content creation. I think we're going to see a lot of people. I think this bear is going to be around for some time, and I think we're going to see a lot of people kind of like get shaken out still. And it's crazy.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off, but just to like Sporiox's point about like, what did that bear feel like? Like, dude, no one was paying attention in 2019, Like I wasn't paying attention, like I was just going on with regular life. So where we might hit that period where like it feels dead, it feels like, it's gonna get dark. It's gonna get dark. But like,
do you reckon that's what I was going to ask you? Do you reckon it's going to get darker? Do you reckon it's going to get darker, or do you reckon we're at peak darkness?
I'm not a macro guy. I'm not like it's so hard to predict. But like, listen, macro stuff is not looking good. So and crypto is very much correlated to that. So until like the macro stuff figures itself out, the Fed, Jerome Powell, all that stuff, like. I don't think we're, but that's fine. That's fine. Like it's a builder's market, and this like little, we'll end up looking back on this time being like, that was like good. That was a good time.
What actually? I do want one more question. What actually did happen to bring people back? Because I actually came in December 2020, but that was a complete fluke. I had bought Ethereum in like 2017. I think I've never actually looked at the chart. I just bought some Ethereum and left it there and actually sold it probably at the bottom. I probably lost a ton. Not a ton. I bought like one Ethereum for like $200 or whatever. But like me coming into crypto in December 2020 was a complete fluke. So I genuinely don't know. What do you think brought people back in? The price going up, do you reckon that was just it?
No. I mean, that never hurts. A lot of it was DeFi, man. It was really that product market fit. So like I said, 2017 was like vaporware, and there wasn't products being built. And then like 2020 early spring and summer, you had like Aave and Compound. I think it might have been either Compound or Balancer, where they released like their token, and you could earn their token like by staking and stuff like that. And it was like kind of one of the first early examples of yield farming. So like DeFi summer 2020 was all about yield farming, and that's what brought people back, because it felt substantial. Like, oh, I can stake, you're providing value, and you're earning these tokens. And then like a lot of the Ponzi, like the DeFi Ponzi's, like the food Ponzi's, if you ever heard that term, it's like, the yam coin and hot dog and pickle and sushi. We got sushi out of it, right? But it was a lot of that, that like yield farming Ponzi-nomic stuff. But one of the projects was like YFI. This is why like Andre Cronje is so popular. And like, if you like remember like Blue Kirby and like a lot of these Twitter, crypto Twitter influencers went, blew up around that time. Because YFI was like a really substantial project where it was like this yield aggregator. So it was just all this excitement around like, oh shit, like DeFi is here, decentralized finance, that's the future. And yeah, all these protocols are being built and you're going to be able to earn money. And like, it's just amazing. And then it was just like, it was a perfect storm really of like everything happening, right? The Bitcoin happening, Ethereum kind of like, making a lot of progress, and ETH 2.0, and then all these food Ponzi coins. And it was insane. But that's what happens that's what happens in like Tulip Mania, right? Like it's classic Tulip Mania.
Yeah. And so, like, I'm very curious, man, because, like, again, you've been around for a while. You've seen the ups and the downs a couple of times now, and I want to ask, like, explain your perspective a little bit. It seems like you're right now in this kind of run, in this phase of it. You're building a brand around the gaming side, Web3 gaming. Explain that. Why Web3 gaming? How did you switch your focus to that? How did that come into your site? And why stick with that one? Why, like, what's your perspective on that, and why you're putting so much effort into that side of the industry?
Because it's fucking fun, man. It's so much more fun. It's so much more fun.
It is.
Like
DeFi or gaming is like, I'm not sure.
Listen. I'm a DeFi degen, and I love all that stuff. But like gaming, the value prop is there, right? Like we see the future that Web3 gaming represents, right? Ownership of assets, digital property rights, and just operating in that space was like what's better, right? It's like I'll be slightly honest, like DeFi's hard, right? Like freaking math and tokenomics and like game theory and prisoner's dilemma, and like it's very like competitive.
You're getting me going, man. You're getting me going.
Listen, it's a crazy world. And then it's like you're also just talking about like people are just in it to make money, right? So when they make money, you're on top of the world, and when people lose money, it's the worst feeling ever. So like trying to do anything there is very, very, very tricky. Very, like you got to watch your step there. So
so how did you find like the GameFi side of things? How did that come into your like I say like your line of sight? Was it just by YouTube? Were you already in the space? Did something bubble up? Like, was there a project? Like how did that happen?
Great question. I can ramble, so please interrupt me and like keep me on track. I was a moderator for a private Discord, like a private paid high level DeFi crypto Discord. It was like a free like thing that I just volunteered just to be networked with like higher worth individuals and really, really smart people. So, side note, if anyone wants to work in crypto, like, you can get your foot in the door by being a free moderator, community manager, things like that. So that's how I got my start.
Just volunteer, right? I feel like get in with the right people, just network and stuff, like just put in that time and like what we said on your podcast, just add value. Sorry, I cut you off there.
Totally. No, totally. So in that group, someone posted Chris K's video on Ice Poker, actually. Chris K runs, what's his channel? I forget. I apologize, Chris. But he runs like a DeFi channel, and he posted about like, oh, you can earn money with these NFTs and you need them to play, this poker game. And it's really interesting. So that was that's what like clicked for me with NFTs. It just made so much sense. Like it was the first project that I had seen where NFTs had intrinsic value and intrinsic utility, because one, it was a wearable in Decentraland. So like you could have fashion and flex and kind of do that whole luxury brand thing. But two, you needed one in order to play their poker game. And I jumped in Decentraland, and their poker game was actually, a little it was pretty impressive. Like you walk up to a table, the cards pop up. Like I have a poker background. Like, I played when I was a kid. So so I love poker. And I was like, this feels like a real poker game. And it's like in the metaverse. So it was just really, really cool and interesting. So that introduced me to NFTs, like NFT gaming at least.
Yeah.
And I got really into that, went down the rabbit hole. That's actually why I started streaming. And then like learned more about what Web3 gaming was doing, and just been in love ever since.
Yeah.
Like we talked earlier about kind of the DeFi summer kicking off
Yeah.
the bull run sort of thing. And I don't want to say gaming is doing that, but do you feel like that it's carved out a niche? Niche is probably the wrong word, but do you think it's carved out a part of crypto that is going to grow significantly larger than it is now? Do you think it's going to become a staple of NFTs in a sense in the future? Like, do you think
Yes,
it's
for
the next blockchain frontier?
well, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think that gaming and blockchain, digital ownership over your assets and owning your assets in game just makes all the sense in the world. So yes, but I think it'll like really honestly like decorrelate from NFTs. Like we don't even, so many of us now like barely even think of NFTs like NFTs, right? We talk about, collectibles and skins and, like these assets that you're just going to own. So like we'll probably move away from like the NFT terminology and even a lot of the crypto terminology, right? Like, we talk about this from time to time. It's like we don't talk about, hypertext protocol. Like we just go the internet and use the internet. People are just going to play games, and eventually, they'll have assets and ownership over that stuff. So, like, it's cool because we say there's no bear market in gaming. Like gaming, people play games, they have fun, they do that stuff, and honestly, like that's the other piece of why I got into Web3 gaming because crypto was crashing, macro was crashing. And I was like, I'm just going to chill in the metaverse and play poker. This is way more fun.
Yeah. And obviously gaming is something that everyone runs to at all times. Like it's never really just going to like go away. Right. So I 100% agree. All right, yo, I wanna kind of shift the conversation slightly to the big topic at hand, man. The thing that you've been putting a lot of man hours behind, the Gamers Choice Award. Talk to us about that, man. Ramble away. Like, what is that? Where did that come from? Just any kind of direction you want to take that in.
Cool, man. Thank you. Yeah. Man, where do I start? So well, first off, let me give you flowers again, right? I started Web3 Gamer was partially inspired by your work, TSG, on Gaming on the Block. I told you that on my show.
Thank you.
I really like loved the news coverage that you guys were doing, and I wanted to do something in that vein from a media content reporting side of things. So I ended up coming up with the brand Web3 Gamer. And that was what I intended to do. I had been streaming for like 6 months, creating content, dipping my toes into YouTube and all that. But I wanted to like, branch out from my own personal brand and create something, bigger.
An entity
and
type.
And that's what Web3 Gamer was or is. So I started that in September. And we were like, kind of working on things behind the scenes, like how we would do it. And the end of the year was coming up. And I was like, oh, like, we should do a blog post. Like we should launch the website with like a blog post of like, best game of the year and stuff like this. And, I was like, well, I'm a streamer. Like I should have fun with it. I can stream it. I'll make it a whole little thing. I'll get a podium. I'll wear a suit and we'll be like, oh, game of the year goes to. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is such a good idea that if I'm going to do it, I should do it right. And I realized like, okay, we could get a venue in Miami. We could invite Bryson. We could invite like, Dr. JPEG, we could invite Johnny Hustle. We could invite all the people that are already around Miami and like really put on a proper award show. And the more I started to think about it, I'm like, man, like so many amazing things are happening in Web3 gaming that they deserve that spotlight. They deserve that showcase. And the opportunity to kind of create that platform was too good to pass up. So I've been obsessed with this idea since the minute that I had it. I've been building it for the past, I don't know, 2.5, 3 months. And it's turned into a pretty big thing, I think.
And like, what were some of the things like that because you say you've been working on it on the back end. I've seen some of the documents you've sent. Like it's been, even the for those that don't know, I'm one of the people that is voting, right?
The voting panel.
And even the way that you kind of communicated with us and everything that you did was incredible, man. Like it was so well thought out. So what were some of the things that you were thinking of on the back end to make sure that it was a success? Was a success, yes.
That's a great question, TSG. The whole like purpose and driving factor was like, I want to give the industry the event that it deserves, and I just want to do right by the industry, by the games, by the builders, by the creators. So it's a big deal to like crown a game, a winner of a category, game of the year, best mobile game. Like that's a big deal, and so I wanted to do it right. And the way that I decided to do that was to have a voting panel of creators and gamers and researchers and analysts, all the people on crypto Twitter that like I look up to and I respect and I admire, who like put out, incredible content that I've learned from. I'm like, I want to give them a voice and a platform to be like, hey, this is who we think is the best game. And also in that sense, we've written about this, but we had a panel of 43 people nominate 5 games or 5 nominations per category, and we've got 17 categories. TSG, because you're a part of the panel, that it was like this big, Google spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So in total, it was like 85 decisions or nominations that people had to submit across 43 people. That means there was over 3,000 submissions to get the final nominations. So like we wanted to get a really like good consensus of what these highly respected people thought. That's why we call it the Gamers' Choice Awards, because it's the gamers should have a say. So yeah, that's the thinking behind that.
Yeah.
So is there any community involvement as well, where the community will help vote on the winners and losers and things, or? Because I like a balanced system where you have like judges and things kind of being involved as well as the community. Kind of what's the system there for who's going to win the awards, essentially?
Great question, Scorioxen. Thank you. Yes, you're absolutely right. So we do have a public voting system, and that's live on our website right now. You could go to web3gamer.com/vote, gamer with a 3. And the public vote is going to account for 10% of the total weighting. And the voting panel is going to make up that other 90%. And the reason why we did that is because when I first had the idea for the event, I Googled, like, I imagined that there's an award show for the traditional gaming industry. And that's when I discovered the Game Awards. And it turns out that the Game Awards are massively successful. So like in a time where, viewership for the VMAs or the Oscars or the Grammys is like kind of suffering and dwindling, like they're losing viewership every year, the Game Awards are crushing it. So the Game Awards just had their 8th show, and they crushed last year's record. They had 85 million people tune in to their show. So like it's massively, massively successful. And we really took inspiration from their formula. So they do a 90-10 split between, their judging panel, and they've got a public vote. So if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for us.
Yeah.
Any formula that gets Elden Ring to the top, I think it'll probably work.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a big fan of Elden Ring. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So what sort of criteria is your voting system going to have? And what sort of categories are there? There's how many categories are there? I think the Game Awards has a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah. They've got close to 30 categories, I think. We ended up with 18. So like Game of the Year, obviously, most anticipated game. But we added 2 really fun ones. We added Best Game Lore, because, we're still early in Web3 gaming, and we wanted to highlight and celebrate and, give like nods to the games that are putting time into building really good story and really good lore that we get to enjoy and like fall in love with. So I'm like really excited about that category. We've got Best Trailer as well. Again, this is the first award show. And, a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's too early for an award show, like blah, blah, blah. But like, hey, I'd rather be too early than too late, So like, but to combat that, like, well, why don't we celebrate like the awesome trailers? We want to reward the people that are putting in the work and highlight the people that are putting
Yeah.
in the work. So we got like best game trailer, but then of course we've got your normal categories like, you know, best mobile game, best first person shooter, you know, best strategy game, you know, best action adventure, best RPG. But in addition to that, we also wanted to highlight organization of the year. So anybody who's like building in Web3 that's not a game or not like a big platform, you know, people like Animoca Brands or, you know, Bryson building Loot Bolt or Arcade or, you know, anything like that that's contributing to Web3 gaming. We just want to celebrate Web3 gaming, anything and everything and as much as we can.
Yeah. Yes.
Actually, extending on that, I like how these game awards are distinctly different from your classic game awards because Web3 games have a lot of different, let's say, features. They have a lot of they bring a lot of different things to the table. For example, economics and stuff might be a category in the future or something, but there is one in particular that I think is worth discussing, and I bring this up because Illuvium Zero dropped the other day. Now, why I say this is because Illuvium currently has 3 betas for 3 distinctly different games on the market, and Illuvium isn't the only one doing that. Gala has a bustling metaverse, Sandbox has a bustling metaverse. Is there going to be a way for you to split up metaverses and games? Because, like, in Illuvium's example, again, they have 3 games, but it's all under the one metaverse tag. Are you going to be splitting that up again? We don't really have that in Web 2.
I love that question, Scoriox. It's so good. Yeah, in the future, I think that we could develop a lot of like interesting categories and dissect things. You know, listen, this is a big undertaking, this event, right? So, you know, to a certain degree, we got to do things like the MVP version. I mean, don't get me wrong, bro. We got like 4 cameras, like 4 different camera operators. Like we're putting a lot of money into the production. The live event is a whole other thing. And then on top of that, the live stream. But to maybe answer your question in another way, we do have a studio of the year and we do have like a metaverse of the year category. But I think maybe more so in what you were saying, like the studio of the year is a really interesting category because I want to highlight the studios, the gaming studios that are putting in that work and doing interesting things. So maybe their game at this point isn't, you know, up for certain nominations or isn't where we want it to be or whatever. But like as a studio, they kind of crushed it and had a really interesting year for various reasons, right? Maybe they went to a bunch of events and, you know, or maybe they contributed to Web3 gaming in another way that's really impactful and significant that deserves recognition.
Yeah, and
definitely.
All right. Yeah, and one of the things I wanted to ask, man, is you kind of mentioned just then and a couple of times now that it is going to be a live event, right? It's going to be a live event in Miami, correct? I mean, I know that. I'm just saying correct for the fucking cameras. But yeah, so it's going to be in Miami on the 31st of January, so later this month. Who's going to be there? Like you mentioned a couple of names already. Can you share more? Like, how's that looking on your end? What's that going to look like for those that are there in person?
It's a great question. Thank you. So we found this incredible little theater bar in downtown Brickell, which if you know anything about Miami, there's like 2 areas, right? It's like South Beach and then it's Brickell. Because location is really important. Like we were looking at some other places that was like a little bit North Miami, and it's like, dude, no one's gonna go like that far because traffic can be a little wild. So we found a great spot right in the heart of downtown Miami. I'm so excited about it. It's perfect for what we need. The venue holds 350 people. We're targeting like 150. Like we're not trying to like go crazy, but like enough people that it's like a cool vibe. There's energy. There's the atmosphere. When you see the whole room, like the camera, you know, widescreen, you're like, oh wow, like this is like a legitimate thing. So because it's been the first in-person, you know, award show to celebrate Web3 gaming, we've had a lot of people get excited and want to be a part of this. So, I mean, I'll share with you who is confirmed to attend, but you know, anything can happen. So like, this isn't, you know, like set in stone or anything like this, but these are people that, you know, we know like are like, as far as I know, telling me that they're coming. So on the game side, well, let me start on the platform side because that's really cool. Fractal has some people in the area. Polygon has some people in the area. So Polygon's coming. Magic Eden is coming. We have some people from Prime Gaming, Amazon coming.
Okay.
On the game side, Star Atlas, TSG has been trying to make it work with Andrew and Illuvium. I'm pretty sure that's like confirmed, right?
That should be happening. I'm pretty sure that's happening. I'm pretty sure they booked the hotel and everything. Yeah.
So Andrew from Illuvium's coming. So I mean, how amazing would it be? You know, I have no say over like, you know, who wins or whatever, but like I want all these people to have a chance to be on stage, like accepting that trophy. Also, the trophy is sick, guys. A little teaser right there. Metalcore is flying out. They're super hyped on the event. They've been really, really supportive. Shrapnel is coming. They're really excited about the event. Undead Blocks, mech.com, Bornless is confirmed coming. They've been really supportive. Tolan Worlds, Michael from Tolan Worlds, I've talked with him. And there's going to be other people that I'm missing, right, on the game side. But it's an open platform and it's an invite, you know, it's an open invite to anybody in Web3 gaming. On the creator side, we've got Bryson, we've got Crypto Stash flying out from California. We've got Metamona. I know you guys do gaming on the block with Metamona. Shout out to Mona.
Yeah.
Ali Straza just confirmed that she like wants to come to the event. Dr. JPEG, Jorge, Johnny Hustlepedia from Crypto Banter. I mean, so many people, so many amazing creators, so many amazing games. Like it's really going to be a great time.
Nah, that's sick, man. Yeah.
And all these guys, I'm sorry, all these people, like all the creators are going to be the ones that are presenting the awards. So like I'll be the main MC because I know the ins and outs of the show and everything, but like I'll be like, and to present the award for, you know, most anticipated game, please welcome to the stage, you know, Bryson and Metamona or something like that, you know, and they'll be on stage. And it's a platform to recognize and celebrate everybody in Web3 gaming. So anybody that wants to attend in Web3 gaming, you're more than welcome and invited. And we're trying to elevate everyone as much as we can.
That's sick. And obviously you're gonna, like you said, you're gonna have cameras, you're gonna stream it. Like what platforms are you gonna stream it on? What's the plans there for those of us that aren't able to make it to Miami directly?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so please tune in, guys. All right, we're putting $30,000 into production. Like it's like a big deal. Like my production manager is one of my best friends from college. Our first business that we started was an event nightlife business in Boston. That's where I'm from, and he still runs a version of that company. He does like big productions all over the country for, you know, a few thousand people and whatnot. So we're not like, we're trying to do this right. Again, we're trying to give the industry the event that it deserves. And people don't really care about like the back end stuff, but like how many, like people aren't even going to notice how many cameras, but like it's a lot, you know, it's a lot of money to put into the event. Sorry, what was the original question? Oh yeah, there's going to be live stream. Yeah. So we're going to be live streamed on Twitch and YouTube, you know, the Web3 gamer channels. Free to watch. Please come watch. And we will be doing $1,000 giveaway for the people that tune into the live stream. So if you want to take part in that, tune into the live stream January 31st, 6 p.m. EST.
Perfect. And sorry.
I'd like
can
to.
I ask one question? Sorry, because this is something that I know a lot of people always, and it's funny because I was talking to Jimbo and Modern Llama just last night in voice chat. But a lot of people see like a finished product and they think that it's so easy. They're like, oh, it's so easy. It's all good. And I just wanted to put some light and give some credit to you and allow you to kind of say and actually explain and let people know what were some of the challenges that you had to face in regards to actually putting this together. Because I know for a fact there is no way this was just smooth sailing the entire way. Everything just fell into place. That's fucking impossible to happen. So what were some of like the difficulties and the challenges you had to overcome to actually do something like this? Because like you say, it is a big undertaking. And again, from everything that I've seen on the outside and even slightly from the inside, like in the middle, like you've done it really well. So I'm curious to know what were some of the challenges that you had to overcome?
It's a great question, man. On one hand, you know, we've been really lucky that this is, instead of like, it doesn't feel like we're like trying to push like a boulder up a hill. It feels like, you know, we like pushed like some snow downhill and it like is gaining momentum and like we're like being pulled by gravity versus like trying to force something. So we've had a lot of success in terms of like partners and games and creators wanting to get involved, which has been incredible. But one of the fun like early challenges in the beginning was finding that venue and like trying to, you know, make it work within the budget. And it's been really honestly the most challenging thing has been lack of time, because we're trying to organize this thing like through like it was. I got the venue the day before Thanksgiving. Like I was like so stressed about finding a venue and like being able to pull this off. I was like literally about to hop on a flight down to Miami to like start knocking on doors because I was calling these venues and I wasn't hearing back from people. So that was like the biggest challenge. And then it was just like, okay, we got the venue, we got these certain people that like are interested, but it was still like, you know, just an idea in my head. So then it was just like a sprint to assemble the panel and then like design the voting system and then get it out to the panel and then, you know, stay in touch with the panel to get them to submit their nominations over Christmas and New Year's, which was like challenging. So it's just a lot to manage.
That was a lot. Yeah.
It's a lot to manage because there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of people involved with like the panel and everything. It's not like a normal, just kind of like, we're going to go and DJ a room and all we got to do is market the event. We got to like, you know, produce the show. And so that's been challenging, but luckily, you know, like I said, it's been, we've had a lot go our way as well.
Yeah. Nah, that's cool.
That's cool. Just extending on that. Probably my favorite thing about Web3 gaming, and I've been here for a while now, and I started a YouTube channel around it, but like my favorite thing from Web3 gaming so far has probably been the community, the support from everyone for each other and things like that. And I'd like to make a weird suggestion because this is something that I would like to help you do as well, right? Like $1,000 is a great prize, but I think you can take it further. Honestly, I think there are thousands,
10,000,
hundreds of thousands, or tens of thousands of people in Web3 gaming that would want to help this event be what it needs to be. And you're doing all the heavy lifting, but there's so much that we can do as well. Like if you opened up a way for people like me to send you 100 USD, I would. That's a 10% boost on your price pool. You know what I mean? And I know that I'm not the only one. There are lots of people in Web3 gaming that we like helping each other out because we know that the more we help each other out, the bigger Web3 gaming becomes as a whole. And obviously it brings all of us up our bags, whatever you want to call it. But I'd like to extend that offer to help you out, like organize that sort of stuff that we can help build it even bigger than it already is. I mean, an easy suggestion is even Ricky in the chat was talking about an NFT trophy that goes along with the trophy. And I'm not saying we do that necessarily, but you could maybe produce a simple NFT that people could buy if they want to help donate. And now everyone that buys that NFT is a part of the moment of the first major Web3 gaming event. You know what I mean? Like I'd love for us to be able to create that. I know there's not much time, but I think you could do it.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can see Icey's mind is like, yo, I love it, but fucking have enough on my plate already.
No, I'm gonna send Squareox my Cash App after the call. So send that on. No, I love that, Squareox. Thank you. I completely agree with you. And yeah, I mean, my biggest fear is like people find out about the event too late, who like would have wanted to be a part of it or contribute or whatnot. Listen, man, I mean, it's mostly me like doing this. Like I've got an assistant, I've got a little bit of help, but yeah, there's a lot. But I love the idea of doing an NFT trophy. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you, Squareox. Yeah, I'd like to incorporate that. We will have a POAP. We are going to have like a POAP for like the people who tune in. That's going to be a part of the giveaway and whatnot. I'm working with Austin.
Can you explain what a POAP is for those people that don't know? Because I'm sure there are people that don't know what that is.
Yeah, so the short version is POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol, and it's built on top of Ethereum. And it's essentially just an NFT, but the way that it was built on top of Ethereum is that it's free NFTs. So POAP.xyz is basically fronting the cost to like mint these NFTs on chain. And it's just like it's like a movie stub or like a concert ticket. Just a POAP that proves that, hey, I went to this event. I was here. at this date, this time, it's timestamped on the blockchain. I own it. And it's a cool way to show that you were there and participated. So we're Web3 first, you know, we're crypto native. So incorporating things like that is certainly like we love to do. And honestly, you know, we did the voting just on like Google spreadsheets. I had people send me like screenshots, so it was like immutable and like verifiable.
Yeah.
But like in the future, yeah, I'd love to do voting on chain so that it's like truly immutable.
And man, speaking of you bringing up the voting thing, I know that you had plans to kind of make it transparent, right?
Yes.
Talk to us about that. I don't think we heard on that today. Talk to us about that.
Great question. I appreciate that. Yeah. So like, you know, I sourced all this data. Well, the punchline is that we'll be publicly releasing all of the voting and like everything in the process, like the internal documents, the YouTube videos, and then like the raw data will be publicly publishing to make available, because, you know, it should be open and transparent and verifiable in the ethos of Web3. I don't feel like I should be gathering all this data and then like be able to have it just for myself and like, you know, whatnot. So we'll be publishing it. We will be redacting who voted for what. If people want to share, you know, docs like, hey, these were my votes, you know, you can do that. The voting panel can, you know, create content around and share what they voted for. I think it's really interesting. We had some people do that already. So yeah, I mean, like the data is so interesting, man. So we came down to the wire. There was a game in it was best esports, and then even game of the year, man. Game of the year was like dramatic behind the scenes because there was Superior got knocked out by like one vote. And it was like the last like 2 or 3 submissions. So you know, Undead Blocks like snuck into the top 5 for game of the year. I know this because I have the data. I want you guys to have the data too, so you can see like, wow, like it literally missed out by 1 vote. That's crazy. Or if some game wants to know like, how many nominations did we get? Like, we're gonna publish that.
Yeah. I think it's gonna like. I think some studios, some games might get a little hurt from the results, but I do like the idea of transparency. I think well, honestly, it's like for any of those guys, it kind of makes sense. It's like get accurate numbers, right? Like it's the best way to move forward, right? Like make adjustments based off that rather than pretending. So it might be tough, but I really like the idea, and I salute you for that.
Thank you. I mean, blockchain is all about transparency, so we want to, you know, push that forward.
100%. Sorry, Scarx, you wanted to jump in?
Yeah, well, I come from the creative field, and feedback is absolutely invaluable. And if your game doesn't get many nominations or doesn't get many votes, then at least you have some sort of data so that you can make your game better, right? Like that's what everyone needs that wants to make themselves better is feedback. Doesn't matter if you're a game, if you're a person, if you're a dog, it's all feedback, right? And I like that.
Yeah. I wanna start moving this slightly away from the gamers award. I'm really excited for that, and it's only like like what 23 days away. It's not even long, man. It's so crazy. I'm really fucking excited for
We've got a countdown on web3gamer.com, which is fun.
That's sick. That's sick. Yeah, I put the link in the chat, and I'll do it again.
23 days, 19 hours, 46 minutes. This is like, you know, I was excited to share this, but also it feels like it's like taunting me. Like it stresses me out. Like,
dude, I can fucking imagine. I can fucking imagine. But yeah, all right, so like I said, moving us away from that, is all of your time, and I'm sure I know the answer to this, is all of your time being spent on organizing this, or do you still have time to play some games? Are you playing Web 2 games, Web 3 games? What are you doing for fun? Like talking about the games in general. And you can be honest, it's fine.
No, it's such a funny question, and like I'm not here to shill Illuvium, but dude, I was playing Illuvium over Christmas. I finally got access. I was jealous, man. I saw all the other creators get like early access, and I was like, oh, like they forgot about me.
That's on me. I was busy, and a lot of people were asking me. I fucked up. It
was a nice little. I think it was like right after Christmas or something like that. So Christmas came a little bit late, and I got access to Illuvium. Jumped in, man, dude. Kudos to you guys, man. You guys like crushed it. Illuvium private beta is a lot
Game
of
of the year?
fun.
No,
A lot
I'm
of
just
fun.
joking.
It's a lot of fun. And yeah, so I understand like the hype and the excitement now, like coming out of the Illuvium camp, because I'm like, oh man, you guys are crushing it. Let's see what else. I played some EV.io. That's always like sometimes if I need a break, I'll just it's so quick to jump in. I'll load up some EV.io. I of course like my poker background. I'll get some decentral games, ice poker going. But no, I'm not gaming a lot. I'm not gaming as much as I want to. I'm not streaming as much as I want to. I do miss it, and I am looking forward to the event being over and getting back to like normal, regular programming.
Yeah, 100%. Yo, what games are you looking forward to, man? Like in 2023, Jesus Christ, 2023. Either like I say, like Web3 or Web2. I'm just curious to kind of get your take on it and your take on like what's coming up.
That's a great question. Listen, I'm solely focused on Web3 gaming. Like I play Call of Duty, like some, Call of Duty Mobile or something like that. And, the new Warzone looks like fun. Like I do want to jump into it. I'd also like to get into, cause I watched the Cyberpunk, Netflix series.
Yeah, Edge Runner, yeah.
Edge Runners, yeah, and that kind of brought like I heard that they made some like really good improvements to Cyberpunk. So like I'm dying to kind of get back into that or to get into it. But I mean that's just me talking. Like I'm so focused on Web3 gaming. Really excited on it. Listen, disclaimer. I'm not voting on the awards. I have no like say. I didn't even like. I'm not even like putting any like. I try not to put any like opinion out there. Really. But like, I mean, you're asking me like what games I want to play. I mean, Illuvium's cool. Illuvium's cool because there's like, I have a lot to learn. I kind of suck at the auto battler, and it's fun. But of course, I'm excited for all the games, man. All the games, like Shrapnel is like got a lot of hype behind it. Obviously Star Atlas has a lot of hype behind it. I'm sorry, guys.
That's fine.
Undead Blocks has their PvP and multiplayer coming out. So like, I'm just excited for all guys. This time last year, like Web3 gaming, like like there wasn't anything going on. Like I remember Bryson at NFT NYC like shitting all over. Web3 gaming. He'd be like, guys, Web3 gaming sucks right now. Like, this is not good. We need to do better. And that was only like 6 months ago. And now look at all the incredible games that we have. Like, bro,
it feels like last year, and it's crazy because we've heard it a few times, but it feels like it was year zero last year. And honestly, like I still think we're so early. I consider 2023 as year 0.5. Like, I think we're just like. We're still early. We're still but like you say, there's so many good projects that are starting to kind of come out and like we're starting to see what's going on. Even like, and I know I don't want to shill too badly, but I mean, Illuvium Zero just came out, and
I was watching Annie stream it earlier today.
Yeah, and I honestly never ever thought that I'd be like a mobile gamer. Like I just didn't think I'd like that type of game. But here I am having it on one screen, like just checking it out and like micromanaging, like it's fucking addictive. And I'm like, yo, in a pre-alpha, in an alpha state, I was like, this is crazy. And I can't imagine when like, and then you add into like, oh man, what's the fuel is actually connected to the real game, and like it's gonna be fucking like, yeah, this year is gonna be good, not just for Illuvium, but again, what I mean is like we're starting to see these games come to life. We're starting to see these products and touch them and really see what's going on. But yeah, Scarx. Oh, sorry. You wanted to say something?
I was just going to say it's so interesting. It's such a different meta. In Web 2 gaming, people release a game like a month after their trailer, or they don't show you anything about the game besides the trailer itself. And Web 3 gaming is so different. It just, I don't know how to describe. It just feels too different to compare the two sometimes. For example, Illuvium, we see progression, we see the beta start rolling. We get to play them early, and they don't quite feel like a real game, but you can see where they're going. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good or a bad thing, but it's vastly different from what you experience in Web 2. But Web 2 has been doing a lot of absolutely celebrated in Web 3, really quite fascinating in itself. There's just so much. And full transparency, when I first found Illuvium, there was no I thought to it at all. Everything else was just so bad that Illuvium was really the only thing I cared about, and I still like primarily care about Illuvium, and I probably won't really focus on other web games for a very long time at least, anyways. But you're right. There are so many games that are starting to appear, and I played Metalcore. I played some I played a little. What's the one with the rabbits?
My
Pet
Pet
Hooligan.
I
Hooligan.
can't remember his name off the
Oh,
top
the
of my head.
hooligans are kind of
Yeah, My
Pet
Pet Hooligan,
and
and there's so much that is actually really cool and really being built. It's just really exciting in general, and I'll stick to Illuvium, of course, guys. But like, there's so much cool stuff. I'm excited to keep researching the space, and things will continue to evolve.
I think 2023 and 2024, man, is going to be very, very exciting. I'll say the 2 years. I think that's a pretty good span to see a lot of things happen. But yo, like speaking about that, we can wrap this up with this final question, man. But I see, like, where do you think crypto is going to be? Actually, no, fuck that. Where do you think crypto gaming is going to be in by the end of 2023? Like, what kind of journey do you see us going on? I mean, fuck it, man. Again, I'm not going to put a limitation on 2023. 2023, 2024, the next couple of years. What do you see happening with crypto gaming? What do you see happening with the Gamers' Choice Award over the next couple of years? What do you see going on there?
It's a great question. It's such a hard question, right? Like, if you ever listen to like Kobe talk on like Up Only or stuff like that, he's like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking know, mate. Like, who knows? What I can say is that
I mean, we can say, what do you want to see happen? We can say that.
Well, no. What I will say is that Pandora's box has been opened, right? Like, the technology is too good to not win. The experience, I mean, well, the UI UX still has a long way to go, right? But like the experience of owning your own assets and being able to do what you want, having that freedom, having that ownership, having that those digital property rights, it's too good to not win. So I think that crypto is inevitable. I think that DeFi, it has a tough road with like regulation and all that stuff. And, who knows what that's going to play out, how that will play out with crypto gaming and tokens and, securities and all that shit. Like who the fuck knows with that stuff. But in terms of infrastructure, in terms of technology, in terms of digital assets and digital property rights, that it's inevitable. It's 1000% inevitable. So the fun thing, just to go back to like what we're excited about in the games, and to Skoriox's point about like getting to see them build, build in, public, like we get to witness and be a part of, the early stages of like one of these games is gonna go mainstream and take over the world. Like in 5 to 10 years, one game, maybe it's in production right now, or maybe it's not even being worked on yet, is going to take over the world, and we'll get to be a part of that journey. And that's what like excites me the most, is kind of trying to figure out and discover, which game that will be, and kind of being a part of that journey. So it's inevitable, whether or not I think it takes time. I think it takes time. We've seen that already with a lot of games. Building a game is hard, right? And then crypto is even harder. So like it's gonna take a lot of time. Obviously, the macro environment needs to be set up for it. I don't know if it'll be like this amazing bull run where everything 1000x's, but it'll be an ecosystem where you have digital property rights and you own your assets in game, and you have a deeper connection to these games and to these items, and you can sell them, you can trade them, you can hold on to them forever, but they are yours. So that's where I see things going.
And I just, before we wrap it up, I agree 100% in regards to like, I don't know if it's going to 1000x. I honestly like, but to be able to be a part of an industry where we can see like we're changing what gaming is, right? We've seen it change from like consoles to so on and so forth, to mobile to free to play. All we've seen it do these massive jumps, and it feels like we're just at the start of the next major jump. And just the way that the human beings are going to interact with games are going to change completely after this. And like you say, I think that to me is like the 1000x's and all that's interesting. But to me, the psychology of that is actually more interesting. Like to see, physically everything is going to shift. Everyone is going to change the way they look at games, and I think it's going to be very fascinating.
And
It's
But
just
yes,
let me
it's
let me
not
just
just.
yeah. Go ahead,
Mm.
Scorex.
No, I was just. It's not the game part of things that's changed. Companies have been trying to monetize 10 years, but probably more so in the past 3 to 4 years. If anyone's played in the mobile gaming scene recently, every single action is an advertisement, right? It's pretty intense. But like the crypto and NFTs will also aid in that area of things as well, where they're monetizing your attention, but now you get to keep something as well. I think that's going to be an interesting shift.
yeah,
Yeah, I would just like the way that I think about it, it's very simple, but it's also like revolutionary. Like it's the adoption curve of the internet and it's the evolution of the internet. The internet, was inevitable, right? People have been talking about the internet, this, that, and the third for 20 years, 30 years. Oh, it's a fad. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Look at us now. Our entire lives are digital. Blockchain is the next and natural evolution of the internet where
yeah,
that's why we call it web3. And the technology and the infrastructure again is just too good to be denied, that it will win, it will be adopted, it will reach mainstream and mass adoption, because people deserve ownership, people deserve freedom, people deserve transparency, people deserve rights. We deserve
yeah,
rights in this digital age. So, and that what's exciting about that is that applies to every single sector under the sun, which gaming is one of them. It's one of the best ones, and it's one of the ones that makes the most sense. So Web3 gaming will just evolve into gaming, or gaming will evolve into Web3 as it just uses the technology.
yeah. No, 100%, man. I honestly agree with that 100%. But all right, yo,
Yeah,
Iceyyy,
say it better.
appreciate you taking the time to come on, man. Like you say, this has been it's been in the works for quite some time. I'm fucking excited. And I'm glad to introduce you to some of our community if they didn't know you already. What would you like to say to close out? Any kind of last message? Any final words before we wrap this up?
I love that. Thank you, TSG. It's an honor to be on your platform. Thank you so much. I love that we're continuing to do content. Scoreox, again, really nice to meet you. Everybody else, web3gamer.com/vote. If you love Illuvium, you can go vote for Illuvium. If you love other Web3 games, go vote for your favorite Web3 game. Public voting is live. It'll be live for probably about 2.5 weeks. And then, just tune in on January 31st at 6 p.m. EST. If you want to watch live, you can, enter in a chance to win $1,000, or just see your game, your favorite games either win or whatnot. It's going to be a fun time. Your favorite creators, your favorite games.
Well,
yeah. Sorry.
We'll get together. Maybe TSG, we can organize all the Illuvium creators to get together for some sort of watch party or something.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all.
Listen,
I mean,
guys, I don't know if you've done the numbers yet, but Illuvium is up for 7 nominations.
Yeah.
7 nominations. That's the most nominations out of any game. Game of the year, Illuvium. Most anticipated game. I think you might be action adventure. There's a whole bunch of categories that Illuvium's up for. So
strategy, I'm sure as well. Like there's a lot. It
could be an exciting night for Illuvium. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it could be. It's good. Fingers crossed. Let's have a look. And you've definitely tweeted out the vote website, right? Like the
it's pinned. Cool. It's pinned on Web3 Gamer.
Perfect.
Twitter.
I'll get the Illuvium community on that. I'll talk to Dick and we'll do a bit of a raid there and see what we can do.
My pet hooligan just retweeted out and activated all the hooligans. I've had carrots in my DMs and Twitter replies all day today. So
sick. I mean, we'll get the Illuvium crew on that today as well. I'll chat to Dick and we'll make sure that happens. But all right, yo, Iceyyy, again, thank you so much, man. Scarox, you want to say anything to close this out, or we can wrap it up?
No, this was besides all the Web3 gamer stuff, it's obviously great talking about that. It's a fantastic event and I love it and everything. But all I want to say is we've also had a lot of really awesome conversation about in general, Web3 games. It's going to be out in the future and everything. And it's been one of the best chats we've ever had on Augment, to be honest, in my opinion. Thanks for coming. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
dude thank you.
Man, we'll definitely have you on after the Gamers Award again next month or some shit like that. Actually, I'm a big fan of you and love the conversations that you bring. So, 100%, man. appreciate you, everyone else. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in for the first stream of the year. We are back, and it's going to be a good one. We are back, and it's going to be a good fucking year. But we'll catch you guys later. Peace.
See ya.